You're 25, standing in the kitchen of a two-bedroom apartment that still smells like fresh paint. A lease on the counter with someone else's signature already dried on it. And your hand hesitates over the blank line where yours goes. Let's say that's you. Age 25, making $54,600 a year. You've got $3,200 in savings. Not nothing, not much. Enough to cover a flat tire in a bad month, not enough to cover a bad year. Rent alone in this city would run you $1,450 a month for a shoebox studio with a window that faces a brick wall. Split with your partner, Mia, it's $725 each. Half the cost. Simple math. You've already done it 3 times in your head, on your phone, on the back of a receipt, and it comes out the same every time. Except your hand is still hovering over that line, and you don't know why yet. The kitchen smells like paint and cardboard. There's a moving box labeled Kitchen Fragile that neither of you has unpacked. And the late afternoon light is coming through the window at that angle where everything looks a little more permanent than it actually is. By the end of this, you'll see exactly how this decision, splitting rent with a partner at 25, reshapes your savings, your risk, your whole financial identity over the next 8 years. There's a version where this quietly builds you up. There's a version where it quietly wipes you out. Same starting numbers, different ending. Stick with me, because the difference between those two versions is not the number on the lease. It's what you do at 31. You sign. The pen moves. It's a cheap pen, the kind that came free with the leasing office folder, and it skips once before it catches. And here's the thing about that hesitation. It wasn't excitement. It was your gut catching something your brain hadn't said out loud yet. This is the first financial contract you've ever entered with someone you're not legally bound to. No prenup, no divorce court, no clean exit if things go sideways. Just 2 names on a lease, and a landlord who does not care one bit how your relationship ends. He cares about the 15th of the month. That's the whole relationship you have with him. You tell yourself the math is simple. Half the rent, more room to save, $725 instead of $1,450. That's $725 a month back in your pocket. $8,700 a year just sitting there waiting to become your future. You can already picture it. A fatter savings account. Maybe a vacation that isn't a road trip. Maybe, eventually, a down payment. The math looks simple on paper. It will not stay simple. Paper doesn't account for what happens when 2 lives actually start overlapping. Whose name is on the Wi-Fi bill? Who forgot to Venmo who? What happens the first time one of you is short on rent week? Fast forward. You're 26 now. Your savings, that $3,200, has grown to $8,100. Not bad. You feel a little proud of that number actually, the first time you check the account and see it. Mia's making $48,300. Steady enough, though freelance work means it moves around some months. But here's what actually happened to that $725 a month savings. It didn't all become savings. Some of it became a nicer couch. The kind you sit on and think, we're adults now. A weekend trip you wouldn't have taken solo. A cheap flight. A rental car. Pictures you both post. Dinners out that used to be a sad bowl of cereal alone in a studio apartment. Eaten standing at the counter, because sitting down alone felt worse somehow. You're spending like 2 incomes now, not saving like 2 incomes. Nobody sat down and decided that. It just happened, the way lifestyle always happens. One dinner, one Target run, one we deserve this at a time. Still, the gap is real. If you'd been living alone this whole year at $1,450 a month, that surplus would be almost completely gone. So the split is working, sort of. It's working the way a diet works when you're still losing weight despite the pizza. Technically true. Then comes your first real joint financial decision as a couple. Renew this lease as is, or move somewhere nicer, together. You sit at that same kitchen table, the fragile box long since unpacked, with 2 laptops open, browsing listings, sending each other links. You choose nicer. You don't yet know what nicer costs. Age 27, new apartment, hardwood floors, a balcony you'll use twice a summer, an office nook that sold you both on the tour. Total rent, $2,050 a month. Your half, $1,025. Remember that $725 you were paying? Gone, up 41%. And your savings, that $8,100, barely moves. It creeps to $9,400, but only after a $6,000 hit for furniture and moving costs. A new couch, because the old one didn't fit the new layout. A dining table, the security deposit, the U-Haul, the pizza you ordered for the friends who helped you carry the mattress up 3 flights of stairs. Here's the trap, and I've fallen into it myself, so I'm not lecturing from some tower. A coworker's solo one-bedroom in the cheap part of town starts looking almost pitiful next to your place with the office nook and the parking spot. You catch yourself feeling a little sorry for him, actually, which says more about you than it does about him. You're not wrong to want nice things. But you and I both know research has tracked more unmarried couples moving in together earlier than past generations did. You're not some outlier making a weird choice. You're a trend. That doesn't make it safe, it just makes it common. Common and safe are not the same word, no matter how much they feel like it at 27 with a balcony and a lease renewal party. The fixed cost of your relationship just jumped 41%, and neither of you really notices because it's split, and split feels like safe. It feels like safe the whole time, right up until it isn't. Fixed costs don't care whose income dips first. Age 28. And now it dips. Mia's freelance income drops for 3 months. Nobody's fault, just how freelance goes. A slow client season. An invoice that takes 10 weeks to get paid instead of 2. You cover the extra $1,025 a month by yourself, quietly, without really discussing it as a decision. More just, someone has to pay it, and it's you. That's a $3,075 hole. Your savings, that $9,400, falls to $6,700. This is the part nobody posts about. No dramatic fight. No group chat venting. Just you, quietly absorbing the gap, month after month, transferring money the night before rent's due, and not mentioning it. Telling yourself it's temporary. Telling yourself it's fine. But somewhere in the back of your head, a tally is forming. A silent one. One she doesn't know you're keeping. It's not even about the money by month 3. It's about what the money means. Who shows up when things get tight, and who just lets it happen to someone else. And here's the part that changes everything. The lease has both your names on it. Walking away isn't simple anymore. It's not just a breakup. It's a legal and financial entanglement. A document with your signature on it, binding you to a place and a number for months, whether the relationship survives or not. You're about to find out what entangled actually costs. Age 29. The relationship ends, not with a screaming match, with a slow, tired conversation on a Tuesday night that neither of you really fights during, because you both already know. And now the bill comes due, literally. Breaking the lease early costs you $2,400 in fees and a lost deposit. Then 2 months paying that full $1,450 alone before you find a new place. Because subletting a place you no longer want to live in takes longer than you think. Your savings, remember that $9,400 at 27? Remember covering it down to $6,700 at 28? It crashes to $2,900. Sit with that number for a second. $2,900. At 25, you started this whole thing with $3,200. 4 years of splitting rent, sharing a life, building something. New couch, weekend trips, an office nook, a balcony, and you're almost exactly back where you began, standing in a mostly empty new apartment with boxes you packed alone this time. The financial cost and the relational cost hit at the exact same moment. The money and the person leave together. Nobody tells you that a breakup at 29 can financially look identical to starting over at 25. Does splitting rent at 25 mean you're set back? Or does it just mean you got tested? Here's where the story splits into 2 people, and you're going to become the one who learns. Age 31. Your income's up to $61,000. A couple raises, a job change that actually paid off. New living situation, new partner. But this time, different rules. You've been burned once, and it changes how you read a lease. Rent is split proportionally, based on income, not a flat 50-50 that quietly punishes whoever earns less. Your savings, that $2,900 low point, rebuilds to $14,600, slowly, month by month, the boring way. This time, you keep separate emergency funds, untouched, not for vacations, not for couches, just for the version of 28 that might happen again. There's a written cost split agreement, unromantic, unglamorous, sitting in a shared folder nobody looks at until they need it. And it works. Both your names go on the lease only after 6 months, not day one. 6 months of watching how the other person handles money before you legally tie yourself to them over it. None of this gets you praise. Nobody throws you a party for having a spreadsheet. But it's the boring, correct decision, doing all the actual work while nobody's watching. It isn't glamorous. It's also the only version of this story where the money survives the relationship, whatever ends up happening to the relationship itself. One number's still missing. What does this actually add up to? Age 33. Combined household savings with this new partner, this new proportional system, reach $52,000. A real number. A down payment conversation number. Now compare that to the other path. The modeled version of you who just kept living alone the whole time. No splitting, no risk, no shortcuts. That version would be sitting around $31,000 at the same age, safe the whole way through, never tested, never burned. That's a $21,000 gap. And here's what I need you to actually hear. That gap isn't from splitting rent itself. Splitting rent was never the danger. The gap is from surviving the version of splitting rent that almost cost you everything at 29, and coming out the other side smarter about it. The pain at 29 wasn't wasted. It's the whole reason 33 looks like this. Another lease on the counter. Different apartment, different light, but the same kind of quiet moment. And this time, your hand doesn't hesitate. Splitting rent at 25 didn't make your life. The terms you set the second time around did. So here's what this actually means for you. Right now, today, if you're 25 and thinking about moving in with a partner. The question was never, will it save me money? It almost always will, for a while. Everybody's math looks great in month 1. The real question is this. Are you building a financial agreement with an exit ramp, or a financial dependency with none? Before you ask what color to paint the walls, ask what happens to the lease if it ends. Ask what happens to the deposit. Ask who keeps the couch. That conversation feels unromantic. It is unromantic. It's also the only thing standing between the version of you with $52,000 and the version of you with $2,900. That's my story. Yours might look different, or it might not.